Okay, well noted. As you come in, Bichachi, to talk to us about your observations around the Nadco report. So much hope was placed on these two groups coming to a sitting arrangement, agreeing on the issues to canvass, and thereafter we had the report. Does it meet the expectation of the masses? And do you agree that it should be interrogated once it goes to the floor of the House?
First, let me just address myself to the issue of how we as a country like to belittle mass action. We like to belittle demonstrations and bedevil it. I would like to remind us that there's a country called France where for almost a year last year, the workers demonstrated, shut down the entire country to bring the government to a negotiation. It is not illegal, even in our constitution, for people to demonstrate. And I think it is something that we must begin to agree to as a people. Because if we are to say today that demonstrations are bad because they're being done by Azimio, and say that whatever the agitators of the demonstration were doing is illegal, then we are removing a vital part of the Constitution, which is the right to picket and to show displeasure. The very act of democracy is about majority having their way and the minority having their say. Every single Kenyan, not just Boniface Mwangi, is entitled to demonstrations. They're not entitled to violence. That's not what I'm saying. Therefore, the Nadco report and any other agreed position that this country has had over time is not a bad thing. It is not bad for President William Ruto to organize a team to talk to Azimio and say what the voters you represent, the ideas you represent, how can we marry them so that we come up with the same conclusion? Now, why am I saying this? President William Ruto himself, by his own pen, in a letter to Parliament, at the beginning of his presidency, put nearly 3/4 of the issues being addressed by Nadco in that letter. So if there was an initiator of that Nadco report, it is President William Ruto himself. Okay? It is not just about demonstration.
Okay.
When you look at the issues, for example, of gender representation, it is not an Azimio issue. It is every woman, every young person who's affected by that law. And two, we must understand that even in the United States today, the oldest democracy on earth, they are consistently having bipartisan talks to date. It is only in Kenya where we assume that we must forever be enemies, and anytime President Ruto shakes hands with Raila in Museveni's shamba in Uganda, it is a big deal, as though we should never be a country that reconciles and comes up with an agreed position.
Okay.
We need to stop vilifying our process towards agreement, towards a peaceful country. I think that just that ship needs to sail, and we need to stop politicizing things that are good for our country. That said, it is very clear that there will be a referendum. There is no way around it. Now, my good friend Fanyambo Mambo here said that there will be a no campaign. I don't think so. One, the state will be sponsoring that campaign. It will be a government project adopted by the Parliament of Kenya, and the executive will take ownership of it. Raila Odinga, the largest opposition figure, is not going to stand against it. Who will have the...
They said they wouldn't be in
Jesse,
support.
I like Eugene Wamalwa. I like the fact that he's pushing the voice of the people, because on the matters of cost of living, I am 100% behind him. I would like to be able to afford the steak I used to eat, because now we eat in kibandas now. We can't go to big restaurants anymore. But the point is, Eugene Wamalwa cannot mount a no campaign only in Western. He can't. If you just give him Western, he cannot manage it. He has not grown to the political acumen required to pull a orange versus banana movement as it was in 2005. Because remember, in 2005, it took Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, and very many larger-than-life political actors to make the banana fail. And remember, President Kibaki himself did not campaign hard. So the referendum is happening, and there will be no opposition. Take that to the bank. Because, number one, that Nadco report may have very little for the common Mananchi, but it has a lot for the politician. In ODM today, they are already arguing about the leader of opposition, because that seat with its assistants, with its drivers, with its policemen is very attractive. As Raila Odinga campaigns for AU, someone in ODM is thinking, that could be me, right? Yeah. So that's one.
Okay.
For the politicians, Nadco is excellent for them. Increasing and re-territorializing our boundaries, good for them. More opportunities for women means more people into their party, good for them. There is nothing that any right-thinking politician will say no to. And even the ones who are saying no, saying it's about cost of living, are saying that for political expediency. They agreed on everything. They even agreed about questioning whether President Ruto was rightfully elected. They agreed, let's review the 2022 elections. But they could not agree on reducing the cost of my fuel. Come on.
Okay, interesting. And it definitely shows perhaps the political angle